Hi YouTube. So today Project L finally announced its name change. You can play this little thing here. It's a quite controversial name. It's 2XKO. Let me lower this a little bit. No one's really sure on how to pronounce it yet. There's a lot of different opinions on it. A lot of people seem to hate it. Some people love it. Some people are some people just want to keep Project L, and we're gonna talk about it. They also announced some other shit like beta testing, testing it like IRL, like at EVO and other tournaments, and then also an open beta later this year, and then full release date sometime in 2025. We're also going to be breaking down some of the extra gameplay footage. But yeah, 2XKO is the new name, and I'm going to give you guys a little backstory. So I did not know this. I played this game. Previously, Project L never stood for anything that like had a real name. Apparently, they said that in-house it stood for Project Lions. And so when I was at Riot playtesting this, they would like randomly drop Lions. Like, oh yeah, we're working on Lions, blah blah blah. Like, yeah, in Lions. And I was like, oh shit, are they just accidentally dropping the full name? And they just forget that I'm there. But apparently that was what Project L like secretly stood for. And so they had some lion imagery, if you look closely on some of the things. But it was never supposed to be the full name, and they like intentionally did that so people wouldn't like if the real name was Legends Fighters or some shit like that, and then the name was Project L, then like it would have been really easy to either figure it out or to accidentally say it if you were working on the dev team. But I didn't know. And then I got a mail today with this thing, which is a little Project L box. And it has this paper, and it has a little golden coin. Has Project L on it, and an Ari. And then on the back side, it has 2XKO and an Echo on it. And I got this before the name was announced, actually. But I actually uploaded this, and so the first reaction, this is my friend Psych. This is when I showed him the paper. And the paper here reads, after years of development, Project L is finally ready to leave its codename behind and enter a new era of progress as 2XKO. And then there's a bunch of shit. And they're like, thank you for helping develop this team. So they actually give out these coins to people that help develop the game. And since I was one of the people that got to test it early, oh shit. Okay, it's all good. And like give feedback, and they changed stuff based on the feedback. They gave coins to me and a couple others. But yeah, this was the reaction when he first saw the name, right? And I actually put this up before. And if you look real close, I made sure the coin was the right way, but I didn't see this until later. See how it says 2XKO here? And like no one figured it out because it just doesn't sound like the name. No one realized that I leaked it, myself included, because it just doesn't sound like a name. Initially, I was also kind of this. I was like, what the fuck is this kind of name? And I think we're all really used to Project L, right? And so I thought about it. And at first I didn't like it. And then I thought about it some more. And then we talked a little bit about it. And by the time that everyone else got to know, like 4 hours later, I was already kind of like the defense soldier. Like, I don't know if I think it's the best name ever, but I was already like, you know what? It has its merits. It has its merits. It's not that bad. And I think everyone's kind of going through this, like, and I think if you just learn the name through this video, I think you're also the same way. Like, I think once I explain a little bit more, I'll at least have you understand why they did this. So first off, why is it not just Project L? Well, it's because all of their projects are called projects. Project A, Project B, you know, like I think that MMO is called Project B or something. Project A was Valorant. And when Valorant came out, everyone did the same thing. Oh my God, I'm just going to keep calling it Project A. What is Valorant? Is that even a real word? What the fuck is this? I'm never going to call it Valorant. This is just some shitty CS clone. And now everyone loves Valorant. Everyone thinks Valorant's like the best name ever. I don't know if we were going to get that far, but I do think we won't be able to judge this name until much later, if that makes sense, because it has to marinate a little bit. So yeah, Project L does not work as well because like what does the L stands for? Lions, as I mentioned earlier, just does not work. Like simply it doesn't talk about what the game is at all. Project Legends does not work. Again, too close to the league. A bunch of people suggested like Rumble, Runeterra, Rift Rumble, all this shit. But like all of this is like gonna fuck over the SEO, which is a really big thing. Like, SEO is when you search for something. If you search Runeterra and then Ori, then you would find like the card Runeterra. If you search Champion Fighters Echo, then it would still probably come up with like a build for League, right? If it's League versus Legends, it's like all of these names, they can't be too similar to previous ones. And I think one of the big problems with naming this game is that they already have picked a lot of the good names, like that are unique to the world, like Runeterra, Arcane, and Team Fight Tactics is like a really good name for a team game, but like it's already taken, right? And then a bunch of other ones are just taken as, as skin lines, like Soul Fighter is already a skin line, for example. Given that, and then also that, you can't really do combat, you can't really do fighters because Dragon Ball Fighters, which is also a team game, versus is the Marvel name. Just having XX, so like League X Fighters or something, League X League, or Legends X, like that's Hunter x Hunter, which is also a team game that's going to come out. You can't have Melee, you can't have Brawl, you can't have, you can't have Ultimate. A lot of these names are like already taken basically. Now the developers here, they say 2xKO in this video that we'll have a look at in a little bit. I personally don't think people will be saying 2xKO. When I initially saw it, and one of the reasons why I came to like it a little bit more is that 2xKO, for me at least, stands for double KO. Double KO is something that happens in fighting games when both people kill each other and they trade hits and they both have 0 HP. And generally the round goes into a draw. And it's generally one of the most like hype moments that can happen in a regular fighting game. So I think it's like a little bit not a fighting game. And then it's also double, which means that, you can play two people on the same team. And people in Smash, for example, when you play 2v2 in Smash, you say doubles. So to me, it was like, oh, well, you can say that, like, do you want to double up? You want to play doubles? So that is kind of where it works for me too. Now, some people will say like KO, 2X, or you skip the X, like you don't say Hunter X Hunter, you say Hunter. So 2KO. I think all of these kind of work, and I actually think they intentionally made it not clear. They made this tweet about like it's pronounced, like you say the name like it's pronounced, and I think that's kind of like tongue in cheek. Like they'll see what people come up with, and then they'll just like whatever is the most common one people will say. But I absolutely think they intentionally picked a name that people can say in a bunch of different ways, and that will kind of create a little buzz and people talk about the name. Some people will think it's terrible, some people will come around on it, and some people will always think it's terrible. But I think they kind of want this name to just be really stand out, really different, and be an abbreviation. Because a lot of the full names are just taken. Tuco is something someone said as well. Tweaks Co. 2K, I'm going to play 2K. I like 2K, I'm going to go play 2K because then if I'm talking about playing 2K, like this game, and then some normie comes up, I'm just going to say, no, I'm talking about NBA 2K. No, I'm a normie. I don't play weird games for weeps and shit like that. I probably like double KO the most, and I think that's kind of what it's going to end up being personally. I think you'll write 2X or 2xKO. The best thing about 2xKO is that when you search for 2xKO, then you just get the game up. And I think that's definitely a really underrated part about all of this. Like, whenever you see a name these days, you kind of say it and you're like, 2xKO? This is a mouthful. But I think realistically, that's not really how names are picked anymore. Like, you don't really say, like, people say melee for melee, right? But when you, more often than not, the most recognizable thing to describe melee is not melee. It's not even Super Smash Bros. Melee. It's SSBM. Like, everyone's Twitter tag is like blah, blah, blah underscore SSBM. SSBM is not something that's nice to say. And you don't say SSBU, but like, that's the easiest thing to write. And I think writing is a bigger part than people realize. Same thing with like DBFC, GGST, MBC3. A lot of these names have just become the abbreviations, and then they kind of take over, because realistically, when you're playing the game with your friends offline, you're not really saying the name like, oh yeah, let's go around a 2xKO. Like, that sounds like a fucking commercial. You're not saying that. You want to play? Yeah. What game do you want to play? Double KO, maybe you say, or the League Fighter, or maybe it's already understood. Realistically, a lot of the time when you're introducing the game, or when you're finding out about the game, you're actually searching it, you're writing it. Like, you're looking up an Echo 2xKO trailer or guide, right? And I think SEO, like making it very searchable, so it's always at the top, you always get the accurate thing, I actually think is a lot better than people realize. Whatever name people actually end up saying actually matters a lot less, I think. That said, do I think it's the best name ever? No. Do I think that it's easy to like figure out what a league fighter should be named? Also no. A lot of people came up with different names. We did this in chat earlier. No one could actually come up with an actual name that's good, searchable, and does not infringe on the other league IPs. If you have a better one, YouTube, if you're better than Twitch chat, drop it in the comments. Tell us a name that's actually better. Coco. Coco is pretty funny. 2xKO, Coco. League All-Star does not work, man. No. Sagem had this, like, this was made yesterday. What is it going to be called? Runeterra Rumble. Again, if you search Runeterra Ari, then you get the card. Summoner is also very generic, and you're not playing as a summon. Like, you're not summoning in this, right? Like, it's not actually like League where you're controlling them from top down. You're actually playing as them. League of Fighter, again, League. This just comes up at League. Project Let's Rumble, it's a fighting game. Leffen 8, Project Hell, Arcane Season 2, the game. Lethal Tempo was something a lot of people said. Lethal Tempo sounds cool. It's a good sounding name. But one, lethal is a card game thing. You don't say lethal. You don't say, will it lethal? You say, will it kill in fighting games or KO. Tempo is also not something you say. You say momentum in fighting games. So this is just a card game thing. Like, it doesn't work at all for fighting games. And it's also a rune, so like there's already overlap. I personally think after all these hours, it's grown on me. Maybe you guys won't like it either at first, but I personally think it will grow on a lot of people. Next up, let's look at the developer year-in preview thing.
Hey all, Tom here, executive producer of Riot's upcoming 2v2 tag fighter 2xKO. We've got a few things to catch you up on.
Oh yeah, and this is also a new stage, by the way. There's some new visual effects. Game's already looking a lot better since when I played it. Like, there's a lot of, oh shit, that parry effect's crazy. That is not how the game looked like the parry looked. That looks way better.
First, we finally have a name. Project L is now 2xKO.
Yeah, new music as well.
Here's why we're making this.
People said that Casey Edwards from like Devil May Cry fame is doing it. I don't actually know that, but that would be sick. I guess it sounds a little bit like him.
We still have a lot of game left to build, but we're far enough along that it's time to start sharing more with you over the coming year. Overall, we're building an always evolving fighting game for the FGC, and there's so much to be excited for.
Dude, the visual style now, I also think really works here. See how, so let me pull up a VOD of how the UI looks before. So this is how it looked before. It was like kind of pointy. The assist cooldown was not really clear. I think here with the green and stuff like that, I actually think it really works with the new name and like makes it like a little more unique. Like I think the hits counter and stuff like that looks really cool as well.
There's also a lot we still have to figure out, and so that's where
And it says not available, really clear here.
we're gonna need your help.
And yeah, like hard knocked on here as well.
Last fall, we brought the game to EVO to get your feedback, and we're extremely grateful for all the time and support you gave us there. Since then, we've continued talking directly with the fighting game community all over the world, and we're learning a ton through direct feedback online, hands-on playtests,
I did this too.
and going to events like EVO. In 2024, we want to take that community focus to the next level and give you all more opportunities to play the game and give us feedback.
I think this is really cool because Riot has always been, whenever we talk to them, has always been super community focused and like listen to us. Like there has been developers that have literally that I know work on this game that have been like, yeah, you have any more thoughts? Like please write them up and send them to me. They'll quiz me on things. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Do you think this is too strong? What do you think we could do to fix this? Like they are very, very open in a way that we have never, ever seen a fighting game developer be. And it's not just platitudes and just like trying to do nice PR either, because when I play this game in Korea, they told me that like, oh, yes, you gave us info on that throw ticks were not clear. Yeah, we fixed that. Yeah, you gave us advice on this. And yeah, we actually changed this for the next build. So it's not just, it's me, obviously I think a lot of the things that I've said, they would have figured out themselves too. But it's definitely does not feel like they're not just, they're just pretending to listen at all. Maybe that will change later when it's going to be harder once the game is more finalized to change things. But I do genuinely think that they're actually very interested in learning from what the community has to say and what the community thinks about things.
So here's what we're doing next. You're gonna see us pop up with a playable demo in a bunch of places across the world. As a reminder, we'll be at EVO Japan in April. If you're attending,
I will be at EVO
come
Japan.
check it out and tell us what you think. And we won't just be looking at major events, so keep an eye out for more announcements soon. For those of you that can't make it in person, the team will be sharing some of our development plans online to get your perspective. We won't be ready to announce everything, but we want to talk with you directly. So follow the new 2XKO channels and keep in touch. You're going to see a lot more of us this year. And we think that this community-first approach, you're going to see a lot more of us this year. And we think that this community-first approach.
Oh, you could not do this before. That's really cool. So Echo has a super, right, where he throws out this
see a lot
the fireball, the baseball, whatever it's called, right? And before it would just go and then it would come back and he would catch it automatically. He also has a projectile that he can throw up and then he can baseball, right? And he could charge up and he could hit in a bunch of different ways. Think Venom, basically. And it would be stronger the longer it's out. So you're actually like incentivized to throw it, not instantly throw it at your opponent. You're incentivized to set it up and then hit it. But what they've done now, I notice, is that when you do the super, at the end here, it gains the properties of the regular fireball. So you can hit the super fireball or the super baseball, the grenade, whatever the fuck. And then it actually adds the effect. So see here, he hits it, so it goes this way. And he can do another super, which adds another grenade. Thank you, chat.
Is the most effective way.
And then he hits that one again, and then he jumps and combos from it. So this is something they said that like we were kind of talking about. A few people talked about that the first time we tried them. That like, yeah, it'd be really cool if there was even more ways to like hit the grenade and like interact with it more ways, because that's a really fun mechanic. Like I love putting out something and then like using physics, in-game physics, to like affect it. It's really cool that they're adding even more stuff to that.
With a really valuable check-in at EVO. 2024 will be about getting you more involved with events, updates, and yes, maybe even some at-home playtesting later this year. And
at-home playtest this year, guaranteed. No, maybe.
In 2025, we're aiming to fully launch on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. 2025.
Okay, so no Switch, but I'm really happy that they're launching on consoles too, because consoles are just so much easier to play on. Let me see.
We're aiming to fully launch
Burst
on
looks a little
PlayStation
bit
5,
freshened up,
Xbox
like the animation.
Series S and X, and PC. What you can do right now is head over to play2xko.com to register for testing.
Oh yeah, you can sign up for
Sign
playtests. I already did
specifically
this.
for upcoming playtests, so you'll need to sign up again, even if you've registered your email before. We've come a long way since first announcing this game, but we're so excited for this next chapter. Thanks for watching, and talk to you soon.
And yeah, 2025 will be the year of Project L, or I mean 2XKO. It's gonna be a while before people stop saying Project L for sure, myself included. Yeah, I'm really excited. I think the name change will figure out in like a couple of years whether or not it was a good name or not. But the game looks fucking great. All the improvements they're making to the game looks great. I think the community first approach is absolutely a good one. And yeah, we'll have to see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more info.